Happy Friday, everyone. Friday, May 8th, and you are joining us here for our fabulous vineyard walk in our Chardonnay vineyard at Staglin Family Vineyard. And we are standing here with Shannon Staglin and Matteo Abreu, and they are going to talk a little bit about flowering and what is happening in the vineyard now.
Yeah, so wanted to introduce you guys to Matteo. Matteo is David Abreu's son. David's been our vineyard manager here since 1985, and he graduated from Cal Poly 2 years ago with a degree in viticulture and joined his family business like I've joined mine, and works in the vineyards that his family's company farms, including Staglin. And we're here in the Chardonnay vineyard. We'll talk a little bit about flowering today. So it's a very cool time of year, a very important time of year, and I'll leave it up to Matteo to tell you why.
Sweet, thank you, Shannon. Yeah, so today we're gonna just look at some flowers here in the Chardonnay block. They're getting into bloom pretty quickly, and what we want to see as farmers and in general practices around the valley, consistent temperatures are really key. We don't want any kinds of heat spikes or wind or rain, and anything that kind of manipulate the flower and get that berry set phase to go off to a bad course is what we want to avoid. Something that we practice when flowering is occurring is kind of minimal touching and movement of shoots and canes. We want to make sure that when flowering is happening, we're kind of out of the block and moved on. And once flowering has hit berry set, then we can come back and start tying shoots and getting into the next stage of farming for the block.
Matteo, what is the white dust on the vineyard?
The white dust we spray for sharpshooters in riparian areas around Staglin Family Vineyards, and it's called Surround, and it's an organic material because here we are an organic farm. So yeah, it helps with heat spikes also, so it'll keep the vine a little cooler and helps out with that.
Excellent.
All right, so here what's pretty interesting about the flowers is that they're actually self-pollinating and they're hermaphroditic. So they have male and female parts, a stamen and a pistil, and there's about 2,000 grains per anther, which means there's 10,000 per flower. The best way to get good fruit primordia is to have shoots that are vertically positioned so the leaves can get as much photosynthesis as possible.
I mentioned earlier that flowering is a really important time of year, and I thought it would be interesting for Matteo to share kind of the cycle of the vine during a harvest season. So from start to finish, what does that look like?
Yeah, so typically once pruning is finished, we'll monitor and watch for bud break. 5 weeks after bud break, we'll start to see rapid shoot growth. That's when all the flower primordia have already developed and been formed. After rapid shoot growth, we usually see flowering and then berry set, and after berry set, we'll hit veraison.
And what is veraison?
Veraison is when the grapes begin to change colors depending on the variety. Usually it goes from green to purple, but in this case, in the Chardonnay, it's green to a white yellowish, if you will. But yeah, after veraison, pretty much we just monitor until harvest. Yeah.
Okay, Lynn. So the Chardonnay that we're standing in right now was planted in 1994. We have 8.5 acres total and 6 different clonal selections. We have both California or American clonal selections of Chardonnay as well as French clonal selections of Chardonnay. Right here is the Wente clone. So this is what would be considered an American clonal selection. It's known for hens and chickens, so it can have very small berries and larger berries, kind of challenging to ripen evenly, but can make some some of the best Chardonnay here produced in California. And then we also have several different Dijon clones in other sections of the Chardonnay. Those generally go into our Staglin Chardonnay, whereas the Wente or the Clone 4 would go into our Selous Chardonnay, but every year is a little bit different. And we harvest this vineyard vine by vine, row by row, as things become perfectly ripe. Matteo and the team on this estate kind of oversee that in order to get the best results possible, and working with these vines, day in, day out, nearly every day of the year from once bud break happens, except for Sundays, in order to get the best wine possible.